another episode here on the Sideline Sitdown on Rio Sports Live. Joined today by former Feria Lion and current Clarke University football player Darius Hernandez. Darius, what's going on?
What's going on, Billy?
Darius is what is it? Was just wrapping up your first year at Clarke? Is that correct?
Yes, first year ever actually football season there at Clarke too. So
Yeah, so Hernandez wrapping up his first year at Clarke University and played football there, got an offer after playing football, playing his football in La Feria as well as other sports as well. Played basketball, ran track as well. I know you're on the relay team as well. Darius, so talk about what have you been up to, man? I know we're at the tail end, or supposedly the tail end of this to COVID-19 thing, but how you been dealing with it and what's been going through your life as far as how we're trying to live through this.
so most importantly, just getting all my schoolwork done, man. That's probably been like my biggest goal right now, trying to get done with school first, and then set aside all my other goals. So like I'll have classes Monday through Friday, assignments due, essays, things like that, due dates, and just trying to get all that out the way. And for like working out, going out to like practice football or just weights in general. Head out to the field every now and then with a group of like five, six people, along with B Marvin herself, taking out there, photographer, taking pictures, getting us out there. For weights, I just have like a little like metal wrestle weights outside just to get a little workout in, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And video games, it's every now and then a little Fortnite here, a little Modern Warfare. It's pretty much it. So
Yeah, so you mentioned that you were getting your schoolwork done. How in your first semester at Clarke, did you take any online classes?
no, I didn't actually.
You didn't. Okay, so could you talk about how that transition was for you as far as going from midway through your second semester, transitioning all that online into in this middle of the second semester? How was that for you?
Personally, I felt like it was easier, but then at the same time it was harder. And the reason I say that is because it's easier because you can like you're by yourself, you're not distracted by other things around you, and it's like yeah, you can do all your work, but it also makes it hard because you might want to sleep in, or you're like, oh shoot, I forgot this was due, and you don't have to show up to class every day. And it's like it was kind of a hard transition because I personally feel like the professors just kind of threw everything at us, like all the homework, and just like, oh, here's this, like because they just panicked and like, here's this due date, here's this due date, here's this exam, and just that's kind of what made it harder. But it just made it a little easier because you're in the zone, you're by yourself, you get to do work by yourself, and you're not distracted by little things here and there. So
And it made it. I bet it made it harder because I know I think last week I missed a class because I was like, okay, it's 11 o'clock. I don't think I should go to class, and then I was like, oh snap, I do have a class. So yeah, I feel you on that part. So I mean, it just came at us all about nothing. I lost the question I was going to ask you, but how do you how what was your first year like? I'm sure it was a train ride, a roller coaster. How would you describe your first year, especially with this COVID-19 thing? I don't think anyone besides this year, people who go into school in their first year, can relate uh, to this whole thing.
yes. And honestly, it was a ride. I guess I'll try to keep it as short as possible, but from beginning to now, first made my decision, decided, yeah, go to Clarke, gonna play football. Got there, took me 2 weeks to get settled in. I was calling my parents every day, crying, hey, I miss y'all, like I want to go home. And then after I met a few other people, like a couple of some of my best friends that I call my best friends, from there on, it just kind of made myself feel like home. And then on top of that, classes and then football. So classes there, it's like I tell everybody that asks me, hey, hard classes in college? Like, are they hard? And it's like, as long as you truly apply yourself to the classes and you ask help, for there's a lot of help, then you will never fall behind. And as long as you show up to class, you do your work, then it's easy as one, two, three. I was like, the only person that makes it hard is yourself.
Exactly.
And at the same time, dealing with football makes it a little harder as a student athlete, but that's when procrastination comes in, or being able to time manage everything around it. And football was great, man. It was a great experience. I know we didn't have the best season, won two games out of our 10, 12, I think I remember. But the two games that we did win were in our conference games, first two, and it was a great feeling, man, just to win our first game ever, first season. Because, like I told you, it was our first down, first touchdown, first like play call, first everything, and just being able to be a part of that was something special. And hats off to Coach Regalado for being able to recruit me, and as well as the whole entire Clark staff. It's be an amazing coach staff to have there. Everybody there at Clark is just so nice. Like you could be having the worst day of your life. You're like, man, I have an exam, and this just random person be like, oh, good morning, have a nice day. And you're just like, good morning. Like you're not having a good day, but everybody's just always so nice and welcoming. And yeah, man, it was crazy. But like I said, going back to football, it was a ride. It was good. I was able to start all 12 games and just being able to get to know a lot of people and the coaches and the way everything works and our new system. It was great, man.
And not to not to ramp anything up, but you got 4 more years of this, hopefully, depending on what route you want to take. So kudos to you, man. I know it's rough being far away. I mean, I'm at Texas Tech, but you're a whole quadrant away from Texas. So it's a great thing that you've gotten into a flow. The question I was going to ask you, actually, relating to your studies, are you an in-person learner, or do you prefer like, hey, can you send me the notes, or you'll just skip a lecture and you'll be fine? What type of person are you as a classroom? Yeah.
I was definitely in-person learner. Like I learned so much easier like in person when the professors are right in front of me and they're listening, and it's transitioning to like the online, like you said, it's just now it's like it's you. Like yeah, you can ask your professor for help through email, but who knows when they're gonna get back to you? Who knows if they're not talking to another student? And it's like this is when you truly have to apply yourself into your classes. And like I said, as long as you apply yourself and you ask for help and you do what you have to do, meet deadlines, you'll never fall behind.
Awesome. All right, before we switch gears real quick, I do wanted to do a quick Q&A just to get a little bit more in depth about people who are watching. Okay, first question. Year that you graduated?
2019.
2019. Okay. 90s or modern day music?
Definitely 90s.
90s. Cool. Any specific?
Whatever. Just 90s, man.
Or just in general? Just
pick,
general.
man. This is hard to pick. 90s was just a great year for music. So
yeah. All right. Dogs or cats?
Definitely dogs. I'm allergic to cats.
Whataburger or In-N-Out? This will be interesting.
Most definitely.
Most definitely Whataburger.
Never had In-N-Out.
Never? Okay, I thought I would have figured because you've been out of the state, but I didn't know. Okay. Chick-fil-A or Popeyes?
Chick-fil-A, hands down.
Hands down, haven't had the Popeye sandwich yet?
No, and I don't plan on it either.
No, I haven't either. And like I've heard people saying it's cheaper and it's better, but you can't go wrong with Chick-fil-A. You
go wrong with Chick-fil-A, man.
You can say you're hungry on a Sunday and you can't go to this restaurant, but you can't relay that to Popeyes. Yeah. So that's a good reason. Go to the beach or work out?
Definitely work out.
Work out? Okay. Interesting. Hot or cold weather?
That just being both. Man, I love the heat, man, but the cold is just a different experience and it's beautiful. So I would have to say cold.
Cold, awesome. This is probably an easy one. Truck or car?
Truck, most definitely.
Nice. And last one, if you had a superpower, what would you have?
You want to tell the future.
Be able to tell the future. Nice. And what would you try to find out?
I'll try to find out if I meet all the goals that I've set for myself so far and see if I reach those goals,
Cool. Interesting. All right. We're going to transition into a little bit of football, more up your alley, I suppose. So like I said, COVID-19 hit us, I believe it was actually a day after my birthday, March 13th. That's the day when everything started to cancel, get suspended. Where were you when that happened? Were you guys in the middle of spring practice, or what was your take on when the whole thing just started?
So before it actually started, our spring ball wasn't going to start until April 1st.
Okay.
On April Fool's Day. So, but we ended up coming down for spring break because I wanted to get my friends from Louisiana and a friend of mine from Colorado to get experience in Texas, get to just show them what it's like, go to the beach and just have fun. And we went one day, and then the next day, the whole just outbreak, and we just said, you know what, stay home. So, but I was here home with two of my friends. So,
what day were you guys? You said April 1st was the day you guys would start spring training.
Mm-hmm. We were here March 14th, I think. March 14th, March 15th, one of those days.
Okay. More in the high school side now. Talk about just your high school career. I know you're a multi-sport athlete. I think you did cross country middle school. I think that was right. That's
I
that's like in the way back of my head for some reason. Talk about just your journey in high school, up till I guess when you started getting recruited.
So starting off like the beginning of high school, I was ran cross country just to lose weight, and then coming around freshman year, ran cross country. Um, at the same time, I was able to make the varsity team for football. And it would be a football for Friday night light game and Friday, and it's early Saturday morning, like 6 o'clock to go run a cross country meet. And I enjoyed cross country, but it wasn't if I wanted to really pursue football like I do now. I told myself I had to get rid of that. So cross country was dropped after freshman year. During freshman year, I also played basketball with you, of course. Remember we played had a
Mhm. Yeah.
season. And I did track. So basketball was just more of like a side conditioning type of thing, just for like the fun and be around friends. And track was another thing that I was really considering on going for the collegiate level too. Sophomore year was when I finally got my first start as a running back for the Lions. And had my first touchdown. It was one of the best feelings in the world at high school. Um, Sophomore year was interesting, man. That's when I think that was my best year in high school as a football athlete. I was able to put 1,500 rushing yards. Had like 15 touchdowns, and that personally was my best year. Still play basketball just for the fun of it, and then track. Um, we was a really good season. Like freshman year, we went to state sophomore and freshman year. That was a really good experience being able to be out there. Jitters is crazy to be out there in Austin. Um, so yeah, sophomore year, and then come junior year, when it all started, when I'm able to get recruited, season started. Started as a running back again for the Lions. Um, Season wasn't as great as my sophomore year, but still had a really good season. Came shy of winning district champs that year. That was a year with Brandon, Leha, like the
Mhm.
group. So, um, good season. Um, what else? We went.
Talk about that third round year that you guys had. I think that was one. I think that was more of as a team wise. That was like one of the greater years I think the program has ever had since
Yeah, I think that
the
was.
early 2000 team.
I think that was my senior. That was my senior
I
because we
think
went.
that was your senior year.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
senior year. Yeah, so fast forward, past track, got hurt basketball. I said I'm done basketball. See, come senior year, um, coming to the senior year, I had no offers, had zero offers. And then once football started, I transitioned into fullback, tight end, slot type player. Uh, just because Julian had left, we had lost Salazar, a few people like that, so they needed people to fill in the spot, and I was next man up, so I ended up transitioning to slot. Mind you, I could never catch worth the damn. Had the worst hands, and then really had to practice on catch to be able to catch the ball, man. So transition to there and just going through that season, man, is just I feel like that was our best season ever as a team, as a coaching staff. I felt like just being able to go that far and Jesus, I don't remember how many years. I think they said it was like 10 years being able to go to the third round.
Mhm.
It was a great experience, man. I personally felt like we weren't ready for like that the Heat game because we were used to playing that night and we've always said, oh, if we would have played at night, we would have won. But it's an experience, man. You know, it was all in all, it was a great experience that year. Beating Beeville, coming back, and then I think it was Needville. That was a great game. Just
Mhm.
shots, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That was a really good game. And then Lavernia we knew coming in it was gonna be a really good game, and I just outplayed us in the end. They just came back in second half and just gave it all they had, and they just kind of ran up to score on us. So and then didn't do basketball, did powerlifting. That was interesting.
Mhm.
Um, I said, you know what, if I really want to pursue my dreams and football, then I really need to get bigger, get stronger. And Coach Vento helped me out there. Um, Track came along, and then same, really like same sophomore, freshman year, junior year, really good year in track. And it wasn't until track season was when I first got my first look. So I was offered by Louisiana University for football, and then I had one track offer for William Penn University which is also there in our conference. Um, and I think that was it. And then I didn't really put it out there because it wasn't really like big, and I was
Mhm.
really like contemplating if I should really, really if this is something that I really want to pursue. And then all of a sudden, kid by the name of Aaron Hernandez, played for Mission Vets, graduated 2018, who plays with me as a defensive back for Clarke University, um, showed me the ropes to Clarke. And yeah, honestly, if it wasn't for him, I don't think I wouldn't be at Clarke. So I really give a lot of credit to Aaron, and really great guy. And at first, I was like, Clarke University, NAIA, like, it's a small school. I always thought D1, 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 right? But as as I really thought about it, I was like, I don't really have anything to really offer. Iowa Wesleyan wanted me to pay like 20 grand a semester, and I was like, Jesus, that's a lot. And I wanted to put my family in the best position possible to be able to pay like the least amount of money. So I called Aaron. I was like, hey, so can you send me that questionnaire? He's like, yeah, bro. He's like, it's a brand new program. We've never played a game. We've only had one spring ball. And I was like, wow, like, maybe this is a good opportunity for me to be able to start on a college team, which sounds outrageous for a freshman, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna pull the trigger on this school. So pull the trigger during class. I'm on my computer just pulling the trigger, typing, filling out all the questionnaire, all the information, and not even 10 minutes later, Coach Regalado calls me. He's like, Darius. I'm like, yes, sir. He's like, so I see you filled out the questionnaire. He's like, you'd be a really great asset to the team. You could help us be something big in the future. And we had a long conversation, and just being able to hear the things that he said that he could provide for me, my family, and my overall performance in football, I just what really drew me to the school. And although I never visited the school, um, just being able to talk to him personally and having knowing that what Aaron told me, it just felt like it was the right place.
Mhm.
And once I had finally said, you know what, I'm gonna sign on this day, I had two more offers, but it was a walk on to Texas Tech and a walk on to Yale. So, but
Hey, bro,
I
it's awesome.
and, and I wasn't really gonna change my mind because after just that phone call, like I said, after that phone call with Coach Regalado, was just I said I knew it was the right spot.
You.
Yeah, I just knew. So
So did you know that you wanted to go out far, or what was the thinking going into that? I know Aaron had a lot of background into that, into getting into Clarke, but did you know you wanted to go out into like Iowa or far out of the state, or was that just like the moment of opportunity where like, okay, I'm gonna take it?
I feel a mixture of both. Like at first, I was like, I don't know if I really want to go out. I kind of want to stay home, close to my family, and do what I can for them. But at the same time, I was just like, you know what? It's the best opportunity for me. My parents really don't have to pay much. It's like very few every semester, and it's like, you know what? I don't care where it is. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. And you can't pass on something like this, and especially now with a brand new program like that. So I just said, yeah, you know what? Just pull the trigger.
Awesome. And yeah, no, like you said, it's a new program, and I mean, it's not a shame in having a bad season. I mean, like
Yeah,
the coach said, you guys are going to grow, and you'll be an asset in the future. So I feel like that's a great choice that you made in that.
yeah, it really was, man. Like even though our first season wasn't our best season, I felt like we as a team grew. The coaches learned a new, like they learned how each other worked because we gathered coaches from different areas, from different other like colleges, and we all came together and just we all bonded, and we all knew that even though this year wasn't like our greatest year, we learned a lot. We learned who we are, we learned who can do what and where this person belongs, and with a worth ethic and things like that. So I we just took it more so as of like a learning season more than anything. So
Awesome. And I think we talked about this one time when I met you and Zach, and I forget the other guy's name, but he's going to Sam Houston State. How do you like playing in the snow?
Jesus, man, our coaches, he's hard, man. So it's like even though like we're out there practices like in the negatives or it's just cold, some days he'll just be like, "Don't be a soft ass," and it's like, dang, coach, like I'm cold, but he's in like an Eskimo mask, gloves, a hoodie, like 3 layers and everything. You're out here like in one long sleeve or like
Mhm.
sweats, and sometimes he won't even let us like wear some things at times. And it's but because he doesn't want us to be in the game like shivering and just he just wants to
Mhm.
focus on the game. But it's it's interesting, man. Like your hands are like they're freezing. Like you think your hands are doing this, but they're actually doing this. They're like
Yeah.
they're barely moving. Man. You can try anything you want, man. It's cold, especially when it rains, and the wind just makes it 10 times worse. But so it's fun, man. It's fun, but it's also really really dangerous. I'll put it like that. It's really anything can happen in the snow, easy slip up, and something dangerous can really happen. But it was a great experience, man. It was really good. You kind of forget that you're playing in the snow sometimes when you like
Yeah,
you
I
think
was about to say, yeah, you kind of forget after the adrenaline and all that stuff.
like after that first hit, it's just yeah, you're like
Oh, that's how it feels.
yeah. So
All right, that's awesome. We're going to transition a little bit into more of what you started doing during your break, and I know this could be attested to Richard, Zach, and all those other guys.
mhm.
You guys started recently meeting up, and I guess I don't want to say bonding, but kind of helping each other out. Kind of talk about how you guys got started and how long this has been, and what you guys are just doing.
So we've known each other for a while, but it's just we all kind of like came together through B Marvin. She's like, "Hey, y'all need to get together. I want to get a photo shoot." And we're like, "All right, cool," you know. And I think since that day, we've all just kind of been like, okay, you know, like we all have the same intentions, we all have the same goals, we're all playing for like a collegiate team, and we all kind of want to be somewhere in the future, you know. And we've just since um since Christmas break, actually, this is when it all started. Since Christmas break, I know you were out there one day with us shooting for us, and just since then, man, it's just we've all just going out running routes as much as we can before this whole COVID-19 thing happened, and um, got to know the guys and really good guys, man. Really deep down to earth. Richard's been a really good mentor for me, especially at the Division 1 level. Zach's been a good really mentor for me, helping me, helping him as well, and also Marco been out there with us. He plays for Baker as well. Uh, Former Ed Couch outside, right? Ed Couch
Yep.
outside quarterback, yeah. He's been out there with us also. So and a few other kids, man. Just names on names on names, but yeah, it's just been really good to go out there with them. And then once this whole thing happened, it was just like now we're limited to like certain areas we could go to, and it was just like we didn't really have anywhere to go. And once it started to like die down a little bit, we go to a little area by Med High, little park off
Yep.
right at the expressway. Um, little dirt field, and that's just kind of where we've been getting together and throwing routes, working some one-on-ones, and just we're working on everybody's like craft, and that's just kind of where we go for now. And we're lifting weights. We all kind of lift weights like separately because we all have our own like little areas and whatnot. So, but yeah, Med High has been our spot for since the whole thing happened, and it's been going good. We've all been growing as people and as athletes.
So I guess kind of going off of that, and I'm sure you can attest to this as well. Valley football back, let's say 10 years ago, was kind of like Valley football is kind of frowned upon. We're like, oh, it's the deepest part of Texas. They'll get like a random team every other year to get past the first or not the first round, past to the third or fourth round.
Mm.
And same goes for athletes. They won't sign, go play D1. I guess nowadays it's become a new norm that football players can sign and go play at the next level compared to I can even say 4 or 5 years ago we weren't seeing as many high school football athletes sign to go play at the next level. What can you attest to that as far as how far Valley football has come?
I feel like we've come a long way, man. I think what really what really got to people's heads is like, oh, Division 1, Division 1, Division 1, and I don't think they always like kind of pushed away like the smaller schools. But I think once kids like myself and other athletes like Reyes, Julian, and people like that who just like who I played with before and Brandon, who've all signed to like not really, really big schools, but like small schools, but schools that are kind of known. I feel like once kids started to see like that, you know, like it doesn't you can be the best player, but it's the opportunity that you get, you know. And I feel like once the Valley started to see kids sign to smaller schools, like, you know what? You know, maybe I shouldn't be afraid to sign to a smaller school. Maybe I should, you know, take this opportunity to see what it holds for me in the future, you know. So I think that's kind of where like it all like just started with just people signing to smaller schools and be like, you know what, it doesn't you don't have to go to the biggest school to be the best known player. You don't have to be the biggest player to go to a big school. Like it doesn't that's what I personally believe.
That's awesome. And what does that mean to you? I know you had limited offers, and then you're like, hey, I'm like you said, you took the bull by the horn and you went off to Clarke. So what does that statement mean? What does that mean to you?
It honestly just it means the world to me, man. Because at first I kind of questioned my decision. Like I was like, yeah, I was it was a heat of the moment. Yeah, I'm gonna play college football. And then as I sat and I at home and I waited and I was just kind of like, man, like I'm I'm going 23 hours away from home. Like I can't call mom, I can't call dad to make me do this for me. And it's like
Mhm.
I think that's when reality hit me and it and actually being there at Clark with the coaching staff, with my friends that I made there, I it honestly is the best decision that I've ever made in my life to go to Clark. And I the advice I have to give to anybody is just be like, don't be afraid to leave Texas. And it's like you say, going to Lubbock, it's a different experience, man. Like it's good to it's good to try something new. And I would also say to anybody that wants to get out, wants to play collegiate sport, it doesn't matter how big the school is. It doesn't matter. Like going out, getting the experience, and saying that you had the opportunity out of high school to go play a collegiate sport is something that everybody should be grateful for. And like I said, it was the best decision that I've ever made in my life, and it made me grow like fast. Like I grew up really fast. I just matured much faster than some people, I believe.
Awesome. It was a good quote there, Alex. That was going to be the last question I was going to ask you before we wrapped up here. But good words, dude. Any shout outs what you want to give to your family and friends before we wrap this up?
I have many people, but shout out just my parents, man, and my family for just always being there for me, always providing for me, even when times got hard, even going to the smallest camps, the biggest camps, and I give all the praise to them, and of course to the man above who just gives me the opportunity to be able to live life on this earth and be able to breathe into the day. Um, Shout out to my friends King, Sean, and Griffin, the people that hold it down for me up there, Clark, and people that I've really bonded with the most and saw myself being lifelong friends. Shout out to like Richard, Aaron, most importantly for giving me the opportunity to be able to go to Clark. Richard, Zach, Marco, B Marvin for helping for the photography, yourself helping me get out there more. And just everybody that I've been with, man. Like for Dr. Mato, I gave an opportunity to go one-on-ones the other day, and that was a great experience to meet a lot of people. Um, just shout out to my cousin as well, Ryan. Really being one of the main reasons why I felt safe in Iowa because he does live in Chicago, so he's a few hours away. If I needed something, he was there. So shout out to him being like my second dad up there, and shout out to Coach Regalado and the whole coaching staff, Coach Christensen, Coach Rochelle Jackson, and Christensen. Everybody just shout out to them for giving me the opportunity to be able to be where I'm at today, and just seeing that slight of like hope in me and just giving me opportunity. So I can go on and on with shout outs, man, but there's people at top of my head like that. Just those are people that I really want to give a shout out to.
Cool. Well, that about wraps up our show, everyone. We appreciate you joining us here on a Wednesday. That'll do it for our shows. We'll be back Friday for another 1, 3, and 5, 7 o'clock slate. Me and Kevin will actually be in Lubbock doing those shows because we're gonna hit the road. There's a fly in my room. We'll hit the road for that. That's Darius Hernandez, former Feria Lion, joining us today. Darius, appreciate your time and thanks for joining us, man. And
Thank
good
you,
luck
brother.
at Clarke.
I appreciate it, man. You too. Stay safe, man.
You too.